Hey guys, it's Dogs and welcome to my channel. So today we'll be looking over my Hexorb deck for set 6. This is before the promo is released since I've not been able to get my hands on it. So that out of the way, we'll go into the cards, the ratios and why we run them. So first of all we run for the Hexorb Sorceress. So we dry check every other trigger unit, choose one of your regards and it gets power plus 10k until the end of the turn. Then act on a Vanguard Circle once per turn. If you persona this turn, you can counterblast 1, soul blast 1, read up to 1 critical trigger or front trigger from your hand, put it on the top of your deck, and this unit gets drive plus 1 until the end of the turn. So we run 4 copies because we want to continuously get persona rise on this deck. Usually one persona ride turn can sometimes be lethal because of how strong the trigger effects can be, especially since it spreads, and since we can also create an early game in this deck. If we've put the opponent on high damage before persona ride, it can legitimately just be a turn ender. Next we have just the one Pentagleam in the main deck. We run 3 in the main deck. So when it's used rolled upon by Hexorb Sorceress, you can look at 3 cards on top of your deck and put them on the top of your deck in any order. And then when a unit is placed on a Regal Circle, look at the top card of your deck and put it on the top or bottom of your deck. And if you put it on the bottom of your deck, this unit gets plus 2k until the end of the turn. So the reason why we run 3 Pentagleam Sorceress in the main deck as well is because we want to be rushing really quickly in the early game, putting the opponent on high damage so that our persona rider turn, when we get to it, becomes lethal. Next we just have one of the ride line of the Grave Bomb, which is T Square Sorceress. So we don't need to be looking at the first skill, so we use the second skill. So this unit is rode upon by Pentagleam Sorceress and counterblast 1 and draw a card. So it helps us make advantage. And then just a starter. Now one of the cards from set 6 that we got, which is really good, is the Octoroy Sorceress. So when it's just placed on Regal Circle, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Sorceress card name and counterblast 1, look at the top 2 cards of your deck, choose up to 2 cards from among them and put them in your hand, and put the rest on the top of your deck in any order. If you put 2 cards into your hand, choose a card from your hand and put it on the bottom of your deck, and then continues on the Regal Circle. During the battle, this unit attack the Vanguard. If you persona rate this turn, this unit gets power plus 5. So the reason why this card is insane is that we finally have a way of making card advantage. So before that, we really didn't have much ways of getting card advantage unless we stacked draw triggers to make our hand bigger. So Octoroy definitely helps the deck a lot. We can actually sustain a hand and kind of survive longer. And the second skill is really great too, being able for it to be a standalone attacker. Usually we'd only hit like 10k threshold, like 20k threshold on persona ride. If it did run the Esnono, she would be 30k persona ride if we discard a card from hand. But then the problem is because when we start discarding cards from hand, our hand gets smaller. And if we don't push on the aggression turn with Esnono, sometimes it's going to be in a bad spot. Also with Esnono, if we can't set up any defensives, so sometimes we might swing with her last, it also puts us in a bad spot as well. So Octoroy helps in so many ways. Again, standalone attacker and plussing. It's really good. Love this card. Next we have 4 Quadra Sorceress. So when it's placed on Regal Circle, if you have a Vanguard with Sorceress in its card name, you look at 2 cards on top of your deck, put them on top of your deck in any order, and Soul Charge 1. So again, this is a really great replacement for Esnono 2. Because again, let's look at the top 2, and we can leave one on top and essentially Soul Charge the other one, so we can get the ideal check. And the fact we can do it in the early game too helps a lot, as again, we're trying to rush it in the early game, so we really want to hit triggers as fast as possible. And because the Quadracast kind of helps us dig quicker, this is an extremely great addition for the Green 2 game and in the Hexorb deck itself. We run 3 Orwains, so it's just placed on Regal Circle. If you have a Vanguard of Hexorb Sorceress and Soul 1, look at 2 cards on top of your deck, choose up to 2 cards from among them, put them on the top of your deck in any order, and put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. And then its second skill is when you draw check, reveal the trigger unit in counterblast 1, and this unit gets plus 10k into the turn. So ever since this card was introduced in Hexrob in set 2, this has been an absolutely phenomenal card. We're able to move cards quickly, so we're able to go for our deck very quick too, which is great. And then sometimes we do use its second skill to pump it up. Sometimes we can just, if we know it's an opponent's hand, so we're having real PGs and stuff for example, we can just pump all our effects from Hexrob into an Olwayne and then use its skill as well. So essentially give it a 30k boost. As I said, Hexrob will give 10k when you reveal a trigger. The trigger effect is 10k as well, and the Olwayne views its skill will give it 10k too. So on a Persona Ride turn, it'll hit 50k by itself if you do that combo. So it's really strong. And I don't think this card will be cut out of the deck for a long time. The reason why I'm running 3 is because space is a little bit tight. I wanted to fit quite a few things in, but I would not go lower than 3 in this deck. We've already spoken about Penaleem, so next we'll go into the grade 1s. So we have 3 changing magic Mimru. So Actal and Rearguard Circle, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Sorcerer in its card name, you can retire this unit, choose a crit or front trigger from your drop and put it into your hand. So finally, we don't have to worry about keeping triggers in our hand, because sometimes when we were, obviously, as the game progresses, we're really trying to hold a trigger for our Persona Ride turn to get maximum effect of Hexorb, but sometimes when we're getting pushed, we couldn't keep those triggers in our hand. So with Mimru now, even if we are forced to use the triggers, Mimru can actually get them back for us, so we actually can use Hexorb Sorcerer's ability, like its complete ability. And also, the good thing about Mimru too is that if we have multiple in hand, maybe instead of using it offensively, we can actually use it defensively and get those triggers back. So again, ditching a 5k for a 15k shield, I think is a really good trade-off. So that's why I run 3 changing magic and Mimru. Now we have 3 PGs, and we'll also run 1 Sanctitude. You can run 4 PGs if you want, if your local meta doesn't have a lot of grade 4 decks, because sometimes the Sanctitude trigger kind of just feels like just a trial deck trigger, especially since when you have low cards in hand as well, and again, the opponent's running a grade 4 deck or a deck that has triple drive, you're discarding more cards from hand when you might not potentially have to. So if that does arise, just run 4 of the good PGs pretty much. Next we run 3 recurring magic Lala Raider. So order Rearguard Circle at the end of the battle that you drive check reveal a trigger unit. If your Vanguard is Hexrob Sorceress, you can Cattle +1 and Soul +1. Choose one of your other Rearguard standard and try this unit. So we're aiming to use Lala Raider now in the Persona Ride turns. We sometimes would use it in the early stages of the game, but we don't really have to do it as much. You can still do it if you want, but we have ways of getting advantages and stuff, so we can actually get to Persona Ride turns now. Sometimes the games would be so fast we wouldn't get there, and we'd have to, especially go 1 second, we'd be in a bad spot, but now we can actually save Lala Raider for our Persona Ride turns. Again, also with Lala Raider too, if you know you are getting the key to overtrigger, what you can do is, instead of using its effect when your Vanguard attacks, you could just use it when on a Rearguard that has a drive check. So if you do drive check a trigger, you can actually have a Rearguard swinging it twice and also getting the maximum effect out of the over trigger, as again the Rearguard would stand and you attack again, so you get another drive check. That's also a nice little interaction you can do with Lala Raider in the deck if you see the OT. Next we have 3 Magical Revelation Torturous. So as soon as placed on Rearguard Circle, if your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, you can Cattle +1, search the deck for up to 1 Hexorb Sorceress, reel it and put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. This card is absolutely stupid. It's been an amazing card ever since it drops in set 3. It's kind of just like Olwayne, where you play it kind of spawn, you search for your Hexorb, so you can generally have Persona Ride for next turn. So if you reveal multiple of these, you might be able to consistently Persona Ride every turn, and if you consistently Persona Ride every turn, your opponent's going to be in a very bad spot. So Torturous, just an absolutely cracked card, but it definitely is run at least 3. You can run 2, but I would not go lower than 2. Then we have the Overtrigger because it is absolutely busted, and then we run 8 crit 3 font, 4 heal. And that's the deck. So if you guys did enjoy, please do leave a like, and while you're down there, why not subscribe and hit the notification bell so when I upload another video you will be notified. A-Dogs out. See ya.